Hi guys, John here. By some strange algorithmic mystery, you found me. So awesome. So we're gonna start working on this Junkyard Caddy again today. Well, I'm gonna take off this sweatshirt and stuff. I'll go right back with you. And there she is. So I've got the whole thing primed. I have epoxy primer on all the bare metal, and then I shot 2 coats of primer surfacer on it, and now I'm sanding it out a little bit, and I'm finding defects and stuff. Now, some of them I knew were there, and that's why I'm sanding in these specific areas. I'm gonna sand it, clean it off, and get some spot putty on there. And the spot putty I got is this stuff. U-Pole, one fill. It's dolphin one fill. I don't know if that means it's waterproof or ocean. Maybe it's safe for tuna. I don't know. Clever little packaging we got going on here. Makes it look like more. Probably when I pop this other lid, this will only be half full too, but look at this. It's got a nifty dip can, but that's so that they could give me this nice squeegee, which I don't know if I'll use this or not. It's very stiff. It may work good for really pressing it in. We'll try it. And the hardener that we'll be mixing at 2% ratio. So we'll have to see when we crack into that. My buddy Tim down at the Happy Napa said this stuff works great. So we'll have to see. No need for a glaze, saves time. Okay. He said this is mainly for underneath primer. You would do this before you did your primer surfacer, but I didn't because I wanted to get it done, and I didn't happen to have this stuff yet, so I sprayed it on, and here we are. So that's what we're going to do. I also painted the jams, which I had a little film on that. If you go back in my list, you'll see that. I sprayed these jams up with the nice red. Well, I don't know if it's a nice red, but it's certainly a red. And I also painted the backside of the trunk lid. And this is how it turned out. Pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. There is a dry spot up through here. I should have got a little more spray right there because it's dry, but you know what? It's a trunk lid, and that's good enough for me right now on this here particular car. Now, one of the challenges with this car, and it's the biggest challenge, is that it's so darn big. I mean, I don't know if I'm working on a car. I feel like it's acres and acres of car, you know? It's just humongous. Look at this thing. I think it's probably 19 feet long. I don't know. I didn't measure it, but this thing's huge. So I'm working on it, and I got her sanded out, and I'm going to do some more sanding, and when I get the putty in, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, guys, so I found some flaws, of course. They're going to be here. You can probably just barely see them. You can see where the primer looks a little darker in places. Yeah, those are little dents. Now, I've got a spot here. This is where my body filler didn't quite get sanded, feathered out quite enough, so it's like a little ridge there, and that of course would show through the paint. I got an issue here with the center line right here. It wiggles. See a curve in it. That'll look terrible. And I got a couple little pocky marks and stuff like that that have to go. Over here on the back of the car, we got a couple spots here too. Like this is like a low spot here. I really can't fill up a low spot. I might have to mix some regular putty and go back to that and fill that out, or I'll just sand this down a little more. But this is kind of like a dent, so I think I'll fill that out a little. This right here is just going to get more of the glazing putty, just some spot putty in there, because with the spot putty I'm not really filling. There's a thing there. I guess I am filling, but I'm not building up. I just want to fill in all the low things, scratches, dings, pock marks, stuff up along the rail where you might still be able to see where I ground off those studs that held the chrome on for the vinyl top. So I got to do a little sand in there. I got a couple little dings up here, like right here. I don't know if you could see that. Yeah, it's a little darker there. I'll have to put a little putty on that, a little spot putty. Over around here, this whole quarter pretty much, there's a bunch of spots. So I'm going to be chasing this quarter around quite a bit. And then over here, I've got like this spot here. It's another ridge like I just showed you on the hood where the putty didn't quite feather out enough. I'll have to fill that. This is not really a low spot. It's just a rough spot, so I'm going to fill that out. So I got to use some of that spot putty. Here's a couple of little pinholes and things that didn't come all the way out with the primer. There's a spot there. I'm gonna schmooze right over that, clean that up. It's a little rough through here. I'll fix that. If I can get it open. I've gone around this can like 6 times now, and I still can't get the lid to pop off. Oh, here we go. Here we go. No, still not getting it. It's like rocking back and forth or something. There we go. I just gotta go around the whole thing, I guess. Maybe I need a bigger screwdriver, but I got this lid all screwed up now. Just about there. Come on. Oh my gosh. This is terrible. Got it. But look at this stuff. Smooth and creamy. Ooh. All right, we're going all out with new stuff. New putty, new stick, new hardener. Look at this stuff. Oh, that is creamy. It's kind of the consistency of like yogurt without any lumps. Yeah, I'd call it yogurt. I think I don't need that metal lid again. I hope not. I'll just put the snap-on lid on it. But it looks like it's pretty decent. I'm going to stir it up a little bit just to make sure it's nice and blended up. This stuff is really, really creamy. So this stuff ought to mix up pretty quick and easy since it's so liquidy. Now I got about a golf ball size there. I think a melted golf ball size worth of stuff. So I'm going to see if, I'm not sure how to know how much of this to put on it. See, there's not much there. Probably a dab about an inch, and then I'll see what the color looks like. Yeah, that's more like 2 inches. Let's see what we can do. I think I'm going to need a little more. Quite a bit more, actually, seems like. Unless I got a bunch on my squeegee. That's possible too, I guess. Probably should have checked that first. I hope I'm not goofing up here. There's not too much on the squeegee. I don't know, man. I think I got to add some more. It's just not coloring up good. And I don't want it to not dry. And when I say dry, I mean harden up and do what it's supposed to do. Because that would be a nightmare. Now I know I got enough. I don't know what I'm going to do about the color, but it's definitely got a little color to it now, but not much. Like that other putty. That little dab of blue hardener really colors it up. All right, guys, I'm going to go spread this on there. Wish me luck. Well, I got it smeared on there. It's a little haphazard. It looks like I really could have done a much better job. It's hardening up, and I'm just going to have to sand it off. I mean, I missed a couple spots, so I got to mix up another batch. I'll do that on a different putty board because that putty board's got some of this stuff on it. I don't want to mix it again, but yeah, I got some heavy spots that I got to be a pain to sand, but hey, man, you do what you got to do. So it's hardening up now. Actually, I could wipe a lot of it off, just knock off some of the heavy stuff. So I don't got to sand it, you know? Just kind of knock some of that stuff off of there. I kind of did wind up filling that spot a little bit and try to build it up a little. And that really came out kind of nice. I smeared it on and tried to smear it off just as quick as I can. But I got to do a little bit more here. Got to do the other side. I got a couple more spots to hit. So this looks a little crappy, so I got to hit that too. Hey, it pays to have some light on the subject, so it's showing me some places I need to spot putty. Now, this doesn't look too bad. There is a little bit I got to spot putty, just because it's got a couple little pitty spots, but especially these spots up here where there's actual pits. I sandblasted these out, and now I got to do some spot putty to hide this ugly, because the metal was eroded there, so we have to fill that. Also, over here, there's a spot that I have to fill. A little booger here, a little something here going on. Fill that out a little bit with just some of that spot putty. And then up here, I've been trying to, and it's very hard to get like a body line straight. I had this dent in the hood and I filled it, pounded out as best I could, and then I filled it. But to get this line straight, that's tough. I'm thinking I got it pretty straight, but I won't know until I shoot it with some more primer. I might even shoot it with some glossy black spray paint just to see what it looks like. And then I'll sand all that off, but I don't know how else to tell how to get that nice and straight. If any of you guys got a good tip on that, put it in the comments. I could use it. All right, so what is generally the case when I'm doing something like this, I wind up with other spots. I got a dent here, and it's fairly good sized little dings. Who knows, shopping cart. Well, something happened in the last 53 years. I gotta get out the real putty and coat that up, and then I'll sand it off smooth. And then on this side, I was feeling my hand along the bottom of this door. If you recall, I put a patch over here. I built the inner door and the outer door, welded it back together, and it's pretty close. It's got a little bit of a flare to it. It's not exactly perfect, but there's also ripples down this whole door. I don't know where they came from. Maybe from my welding, maybe not. I put a patch up here too that's a little high, but I'm just gonna take a smear of putty, go right across this whole thing, sand it down till it's smooth, and then we'll probably call that good. Oh, another thing, I stopped by the barn one day and these were standing outside the door. There's two of them, these little stools. And then I found out later my buddy Kevin stopped by and told me he dropped them off. He actually picked these up for me. Real nice, they're great to sit on. So I've been sitting on them so I can work on this. Otherwise I gotta, you know, squat down on my knees, which are getting old and tired. So thanks, Kevin. Big thumbs up. Well, I got the putty on here. I got it nice and even, pretty much, I think. Who knows for sure? We won't know till it's done, will we? But anyway, I got it on there, and I'm thinking I want to cheese grate it off just to even it out a little bit. And then I'll probably put another coat on, but I want to knock down these heavy ridges because I don't want to build too much up on it. And if I do it in just the right amount of time, the cheese grater will be very effective. But if I miss my window, I miss my window. So let's see. Ooh, that seems to be working. Right across the whole thing. I'm just trying to shoot a nice level plane, and we'll see where the low spots are, because the cheese grater will float over them with any luck. Might be a little early. Seems like it wants to plug up the old cheese grater. I'm gonna have to do more tuning up on this anyway, but I want to get this, I don't want to get shiny paint on here and seeing ripples all the way down my door. I don't want to see that if I can avoid that at all. So, how do I do this so I don't, oh, here we go. Looks to me like it's pretty good, actually. So you can see where the low spot is. Right through here, it's just the cheese grater's not hitting it, you know, because this is a straight plane. Definitely smoother than it was. It looks like it's low here. I don't understand that. I thought that was high, but I'm already hitting steel here, so I kind of got to quit. So I'm going to give it another smear. I'll give it a quick wipe off with a nice clean rag. It's still tacky. Next coat will go right on there and stick like crazy. And I'm also getting it down here where I don't want it, but it is what it is. Then we'll sand it off and make it nice and smooth and nice, and then we'll hit it with the spot putty. And then when I prime, I'll prime everything, and I think we'll be good. Alrighty. A little more. Yeah, you can see there's a couple of low spots and they'd be wavy. So I'm going to hit it with some more putty and do this again. Okay, so I started putting a couple swipes on this with my 40 grit board sander, and you can already see this is developing into a low spot here, which is odd because I can see this is flared out here. Now, It works here pretty good, but over here it's flared out. I probably should I try tapping it back and bending it? This is the patch I made. I even made this inner piece. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm a little bit afraid that if I monkey with it too much, I'll wreck it. But do I want to have a flare like this? But of course, when I put the skirt on, it might match the skirt just because it doesn't match this so great. All these dilemmas. This appears to be flared out a little bit here. I gotta see if I can push it back a little. I've got a block up there holding the door. I'm just gonna try to give it a little push. Now it's solid. It's solid. I really don't want to mess it up. Yeah. It's a little better, I guess, but man, it still ain't great. That's flush. It's pretty close, you know, it's just a hair off. See if you can see it. See, this just flares out a little bit here. Well, I'm gonna sand it off. See how close that gets me. It might be acceptable when I'm done sanding. Wow, I might get that air sander out. Oop. I'm hitting steel here already. You know what that means? It ain't working. That's what that means. I get rid of this ridge above the steel, but down there on that steel, I got it. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's got a real wave there. I'm gonna have to think about it. I'm gonna have to bash it back. See what I can do. I'm not sure what caused that. Maybe my welding, it torqued it, but I'm hitting steel there already. I'm starting to hit here. I'm gonna get down from here down, from the steel down, and sand that off and see how close that gets. I should have been more diligent before I put this putty on here. But you know what? I think I gotta fix this because I'm gonna hate it. So I gotta figure something out. Maybe what I'll do is I'll block the door out and then I might have to hit it. I might have to take like a board, put it there, whack it with a hammer, a good sizable hammer. Yeah, I think that's what I wind up doing, but it's only, man, just barely missing. Maybe I just fill that out and keep it, make it smooth and even and call it good enough, even if it doesn't line up perfect here. Arg! Again, dilemmas. Anyway, more fill. I gotta sand more on this end, more fill on that end. Well, it feels a lot better. All right, here we go. We're gonna give this thing a whack. Hope for the best. I just can't stand that flare out. Always use the proper hammers. Caveman hammer. I don't think it budged. Oh, that looks better. That does look better. Just a couple little love taps, and I think this is something I can live with. I mean, it's still not perfect, but man, it's quite a bit closer. So it's gonna need a little more putty. These are all low spots. The dark blue is all low spots. So one more nice even smear across the thing, and I think we'll be good to go. Well, I think I got enough done on that old Cadillac today. We're getting that thing shaped up, starting to look better. Hey, if you guys stuck out this long, thanks. Appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys on the next one.